think that is the perfect sort of, it translates perfectly to startups, because I know that what we're talking about is, okay, a startup investment and a real estate investment, very, very different. But a startup has the same cycle, right? Rayaan gets hired for a real estate fund to help sell your story, right? But Rayaan's not going to close the deal unless there's a Klara there fully prepared and can sell the story. And not just sell the story from a, hey, look at this beautiful building, there's a picture of it
That's
today
not gonna
and a
fly.
picture of what it's going to be. It's Andy decides right now he wants to give you $100,000. He's not going to do that without actually looking and seeing that there's
Exactly.
projections, and then asking Klara the question, why do these projections make sense? You can't say, because I think that people would love to live in that building. Look, it's prettier.
Right.
Like that's not the right story. So talking about that is there's two sort of things you discussed, is selling the initial story, getting the people probably in the room, and then when the people are in the room, being able to close them, and that's very much the being prepared part, right? Rayaan, your business is a lot about teeing up that first part for your clients, right? So selling your clients' stories and maybe filling the funnel, right? So from a startup sales perspective, the huge sales funnel, you narrow it down to the few people that are able to invest $1 million.
Right.
What sort of, I want to get a little specific, right? So what's been, you think, the best strategy for doing that from I know you help and consult in creating the story, but a strategy of now getting that story out to the masses and filling a room?
I think, one of the things that we are able to do now is to get the story out to the masses, because we have so many different media available to everybody now. We're pretty much like the news channels. We can be on stage, we can be on TV, we can be on live, you can be on YouTube, Facebook. So that's accessible to everybody. So the idea first to get your story out or their story out to as many people as possible, that's where we come in. And we want to try and engage as many people as possible, keep them engaged for the longest time possible, and in the end actually requires less selling. Because first of all, as you go back to the preparation, if the preparation is good, then you pretty much have sold the deal, either sold the deal or people are not interested. But people, if they stay engaged through the process, then it allows us to monitor that all the way through, to re-engage them at several stages. And maybe, they needed some more information, but you can see the interaction going on all the time compared to the previous methods. Now, you see a person that's come onto your website 20 times over, they're interested in something. And you can track that kind of information. I mean, I used to love, we track emails. And I remember once we sat around the room and one person we were looking at, and I said, wow, this guy's clicked on my email about 100 times. And then someone in the room said, yeah, there's something wrong with his finger. He's probably clicking away. He's got something. But, but that's a level of information that we're able to gather on people. So we use that, we engage people. And the idea ultimately is that, we are not the selling mechanism. We're not telling people, by the way, get this, invest in this, because this is the best thing since sliced bread. That's really the job of, the principals, the sponsors, or a professional that is, licensed to say that. But generally, I'm finding that, if a person is engaged with you throughout, all they want to do is make sure that, they feel comfortable, there's enough trust built with that sponsor, the real estate company, and they will invest.
We've talked a lot about story, telling your story. But part of storytelling is also knowing your audience.
Yes.
And so a lot of companies make the mistake of telling the story about their product, which is great. That gets us in the room. But closing the deal is telling the story and the aspects of the story about how this is going to make me money, how this is going to generate my cash flow, and understanding your buyer and what they're looking for. And I think, how many of, like on your deals, how many times do you go back to the same, somebody you've done a deal with before?
Well, I focus greatly on identifying, is the person I'm talking to real? So my first conversation with any investor is I'm not looking for them to screen me. I know who I am. I know what I have to offer. And I think anyone that invests in my deals is a very lucky person because I deliver. So the process is I'm screening them. Do they have the money? And are they the type of person meaning, are they the caliber of investor that I want in my partnerships? Because you know what? You can mitigate a lot of risk, but you can't mitigate political and economic risk. You have no control over that. So you have to have investors who are intelligent, reasonable, and understand politics and economics, and understand that goes hand in hand with investing, so that when you know what hits the fan, and it always does, not only will these investors stay still, but many times I've had to go back to some of my bigger investors and say, hey, I need a couple of $100,000 to do this, this, and this. I've never had anyone say no. And the reason is because I screen them not just from a qualification standpoint, but are they reasonable people? Are they intelligent people? Are they going to be my partners? Are they real partners? Are we in this together? And if the answer is yes, then I will allow them in my partnership.